Bom dia a todos. Welcome to our webinar on Chinese e-commerce. My name is Augusto Castro. I'm the head of the China unit of Apex Brazil. And to talk about the Chinese e-commerce for food and beverage, we have a very special guest with us here today, Eric Lee. Eric Lee is the vice president of e-Xport, which is an e-commerce platform for fresh food based in Shanghai, China. Eric, welcome to Brazil.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Well, let's begin with the size of the market for fresh food in China, for the e-commerce market. According to Tmall Fresh CEO, Mr. Ray He, in a recent interview, the fresh food market, e-market in China has reached almost 15 billion US dollars last year, with 36 million households buying foods online in China. And it's still growing very fast. Like in 2020, according to him, these numbers are likely to reach 75 billion US dollars, with 72 million households buying fresh foods online. So Eric, first I'd like to ask you, what do you believe are the main drivers of growth in this segment, which is one of the most dynamic in Chinese e-commerce?
Yes, since it's getting more popular for China household to buy fresh food online. In the past, the penetration rate for Chinese e-commerce for fresh food now is only 5%. But we believe with our investment on the infrastructure for cold chain, and also consumer get more used to buy fresh food online, we believe the future growth rate will be very high. It will be reached like penetration rate will over 10% within 3 to 5 years. So which means every year the market will grow over 100%. Yes.
Yeah. Well, 62% of Chinese consumers prefer to buy food online. Globally, this number is only 22%. What do you believe is unique about China when we talk about food and beverage, e-commerce for food and beverage?
Yes, because one reason is that China sort of like a leapfrog for the whole retail evolution. Because China, we don't have a similar sophisticated cold chain system as developed country have. So we don't have to build a traditional brick and mortars cold chain system as the developed country did in the past decades. So we just go direct e-commerce. Also, the condensity in China, the cities also make it more economic feasible for e-commerce for fresh food.
What's the share of foreign products in this booming market for fresh food in China, and how foreign companies should prepare for the expansion of this market in China?
Yeah, our company, we source about 50% the product globally, whether it's direct or indirect imported to China, and also we source the rest of 50% domestic market. In a lot of category that we are selling China consumer, China, we don't have enough supply to meet Chinese demand. Also, China consumer also very eager to try very high quality, very new product from all over the world. So we believe that's very, in the future, the import for foreign food will increase a lot.
Can you give us examples of like foreign food, foreign groceries that have been successful recently in the Chinese market?
Yes, for example, avocado from Mexico. 5 years ago, very few Chinese consumer they consume avocado, but after our company's introduction, try to educate customer the health benefit and also how to cook the recipe for avocado. Now the demand for avocado increased very much, and also other like cherry from North America and South America, and also beef from Brazil. So we believe through the e-commerce platform, it's a very powerful marketing platform, so that the consumer get more access to the information about the health benefit and uniqueness of this foreign product.
Which subsectors like meat, seafood, fruits do you expect should be should grow faster and should be the most dynamic within the next few years?
I would say all segments will grow very, very fast. But in case of our company whole sales will increase every year over 300%. But the percentage for fruit will be lower. Nowadays it's about 40%. But the percentage for meat and seafood will increase relatively. But every sector will grow very fast.
In terms of Brazilian food stuff, which products do you think are like most appealing to the Chinese consumer?
Of course, Brazil already start to export to China for beef and poultry, which is very basic consumption for China. We believe the consumption for beef will increase a lot. They are switching from pork to beef. They believe beef is more healthy, relatively more protein, lower cholesterol, lower calorie. That will increase a lot. Still, I think the import from Brazil for beef and also poultry will increase. I think also through this trip we also find lot of new product, good product from Brazil, so that we can bring to China market, introduce to China market. So we will work with e-Xport and other companies, try to promote this product and brand in China.
Well, Brazil is the main supplier of beef and poultry to China, but one problem that we have is that basically we sell to processors in China. We don't reach the Chinese consumer. We don't sell beef and poultry to the Chinese consumer. How do you see this evolving? How do you believe Brazilian companies can go a step further and start to selling to the consumer and getting into the premium segment for beef and poultry in China?
Yeah, we believe it's very important for these big commodity supplier to start the retail business, to create their own brand, to have a close communication with the consumer. Actually, we have experience. We also want to work with these players to develop the product, also design the product, also promote the brand in China consumer side. It might take time, but I think it's very important for these commodity players to have a retail business at the same time in China.
Well, let's talk about food safety and traceability. How important is food safety? We know we had some scandals in the past in China. How important is food safety and traceability in China?
Yeah, it's very critical. Food safety is the most important thing for food business in China. And all the China government, also media and consumer, they put a lot of attention, emphasis on the food safety. So within our company, we have a very big internal compliance team to audit all our suppliers, to make sure every product, every process, procedure is according to Chinese law, and also try to give more traceability and more information about how much antibiotics, whether it's antibiotics put in the product, also human grown hormone in the product. So consumers take a lot of attention on that aspect.
In terms of regulation, Eric, like sanitary, phytosanitary requirements, what do you think are the main challenges for foreign companies, and how e-Xport and e-commerce platforms can help foreign companies to go through all this bureaucracy before they are able to sell to China?
Yeah, to be honest, this is not too much the private company e-Xport can do, because it's more like a government, two government agreement. But our experience is that the role of foreign government, also foreign agency like e-Xport, also industry association, your push or like your networking, negotiation with the China government is very critical, because China AQCIQ head office in Beijing, they are very busy. So they have so many pile of application on their table from all over the country, from different product. So, but if the Brazilian government can try to get more attention from the AQCIQ, so for example, invite them to come to Brazil, also to let them know, understand more about the development of the food production side at the Brazil side, at the Brazilian side. That will be very helpful to fasten the time for the approval. Yeah.
Let's talk about some trends in the Chinese market. One of the buzzwords in Chinese commerce is the so-called omni-channel, like the integration between offline and online retailing. How is e-Xport preparing for this new trend, like the integration of offline and online channels?
Yes, this is a very new but very fast development for China retailing industry. Now as Alibaba and also e-Xport, we don't call ourselves as pure e-commerce company. We call us a new retailer because we believe the online and integration between online and offline is very critical for consumer to better understand the product, to buy the product, also to get a service for the product. So on the other side, so for the brand owner, like whether it's overseas or domestic, they have to think about what's the best chance to reach consumer anytime, wherever the consumer are, or whenever the consumer are, to reach consumer, whether they are on the way to the work, whether they have fun after work, even during the work, how to present your product to the consumer side at the right time and the right place. Also to deliver the service, the product to consumer according to consumers' preference. For example, some new product it is very suitable to be sold online, but at the same time, the consumer also need to taste, also touch the product offline. So how you make sure this online operation and offline operation can be integrated seamlessly, and also for us, try to drive the offline traffic to online, because the natural growth, organic growth for online P2C, the growth rate is slowing down, even though it's still high, but still majority of the consumer, they still buy offline. So it's very critical for online players to find a way to drive the offline traffic to online. So that's the reason why we need to go to offline to reach consumer. At the same time, the offline shops or the convenience stores are also very important for our distribution channels. They will play a role as like front end DCs or hubs from where the consumer can either go there to pick up their product, or from there we can deliver the product to the consumer home. So to solve the last mile problem.
Great. Let's talk about logistics. Like China is known for having a very efficient and infrastructure and logistics. Like in tier 1 and tier 2 cities, you can get like same day deliveries, very fast deliveries. How do you do that? Like how you manage logistics in such a big platform such as e-Xport or Fresh?
Yeah. So we believe the infrastructure for cold chain is very critical to be successful in this industry. So we have been investing heavily on building the DCs across nations.
Distribution centers.
Yeah, distribution centers. So just for your new information, I just got news, the internal news that we are revising our public information for distribution centers. Now we have 24 DCs in 22 cities. So we almost double our number of DCs within 1 year. That takes a lot of investment, to find a place to renovate, to put a cold chain in line, and also from these DCs we build our own delivery fleet, so that we can reach the consumer at different cities.
So it's very important for companies to manage their inventories in China in a very efficient way, like to be able to respond to consumers very fast.
Exactly, because for food product, the cold chain is critical. The last thing we want to see is the cold chain is broken. That would be very bad consumer experience. So we need to make sure the cold chain never stops, so consumer can get the same quality product over China.
Well, the Chinese consumer is known for being very active, in terms of reviewing and scoring the companies.
Yeah.
How do you see customer service management in China? How important is to have a good customer service in China?
Yes, customer service is very important. Actually, it's customer service is the result of all service, because the China consumer, they are picky. They are already spoiled. So because the competition in the market, so we need to make sure the request from consumer every year they are increasing their demand. So for example, 3 years ago, if we deliver this product 2 days after the order, they are okay. But nowadays, if we let them wait for 1 day, they won't be happy. So we have to meet the ever increasing demand from the consumer side. The customer service is just one aspect, but it's very critical, because usually the customer service is before sales or after sales. Before sales is people try to understand the product, so that were very helpful for our conversion rate, whether consumer they want to buy or not. So that's very critical. But after sales is more critical, because it's when they contact you, it's gonna be some problem. So
it should be very fast.
Very fast, and there's a ratio. We have a complaint ratio. So if certain product, the ratio for complaint is too much, over 55%, that will be huge accent within the company. We will evaluate whether it's a product problem, or our cold chain problem, or our other problem. So we'll be very seriously look at this KPI. So we have in Tmall system, they have a mandatory delisting mechanism. So if certain product, we call DSR, the complaint rate over certain
levels,
the threshold, the product will be delisted immediately, regardless of any reason. Then we will investigate what's the reason for that. Then we put this product back on the shelf. But before that, we have to solve that problem very, very seriously. So because if there's only one KPI for our company, it is consumer satisfaction rate. This is everything.
Great. Well, as I said at the beginning, Brazilian products and brands, they're not known in China. And at the same time, most of the companies are a small and medium-sized companies. They don't have a large budget to make promotions and to invest in brand activation. We know that in China, a new trend is the so-called KOLs, key opinion leaders, and the integration between social media and e-commerce. What do you think are the smartest way to promote yourself in China in a not so expensive way? What kind of advice you'd give in terms of brand activation for?
Yeah, I agree with you. So we need to have an innovative way to promote the product. As you see, I just opened the Taobao 11 portal. I saw the ambassador from Brazil. You can check right now. He opened the door, and this Brazilian chef to cook the product. So it's very, very critical for us to have an innovative way of marketing, KOL, and also we get endorsement from the Brazilian government or from the celebrities for endorsement for the product. It's very critical for China consumer. They see Brazilian ambassador, to come out. That's very critical. Also, the celebrity, the KOL, also is popular for live streaming. For example, we do we sell U.S. cherry, we sell Alaska seafood. We will probably send some KOL people to the harvest place, and when they harvest cherry, when they do the harvest on the ocean, there's live streaming.
Live streaming,
so the consumer
which is a new trend in the market. This very
So in the future, maybe we can send some KOL to Brazil to visit the slaughterhouse, the farm, to see how they process, so that consumer can get a touch. They think
the storytelling
yes,
and so on.
Yes, exactly. Very, very critical.
Well, to finish our interview, if a Brazilian company wants to start selling at Iguo and Timor Fresh, what would be the first step? What advice would you give to these companies?
Yeah, I think try to come to China to understand the market. Try to talk with us about how to enter the market. Try to log on, go to our app to look at the similar product we are selling. It's very helpful. I would say because China market is changing a lot very quickly, so it's very critical to follow the market, to have a
get some market intelligence and data.
Yes, exactly.
Great.
Yes.
Well, Eric, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.